For breaking news, go to iDiskiTimes.co.za.
iDiskiTV, powered by World Sports Betting, iDiskiTimes.co.za. Mamelodi Sundowns going on top of the Betway Premiership for the first time this season, where they belong, where they've always been for the past 8 years. Beating Stellenbosch in Cape Town, doing what they always do against Stellenbosch, because the last time Stellenbosch beat Sundowns in a league game, it was in 2022. Beating Sundowns by 3-0. Now, Sundowns, they are on 11 points. Number one. Iposition iqheleleyo.
You're breathing heavy, Shane, molo kukhuluma. Angazi waloku breathe heavy.
Iposition iqheleleyo, eh?
You've been breathing heavy.
Yeah?
You've been breathing heavy. Why are you breathing heavy, Shane?
What do you mean? Are you position iqheleleyo?
No, usual position. No, man, you are breathing heavy as if not nervous.
No, I can never be nervous. That's all.
You're breathing heavy. I'm always nervous before any interview, so I was just getting this feeling. You sound nervous. But anyway, let's say congratulations to Mamelodi Sundowns. 5 games without a loss, 3 wins, 2 draws. I think we have to give Miguel Cardoso credit. I think, but I think in the Mamelodi Sundowns, Shane, has nothing to do with the results. I think Mamelodi Sundowns is a national treasure. That's one of the reasons why I think everybody feels the way they are feeling in terms of performance. I emphasize week in, week out when I'm here that we are not here for a result, but for performance. And when you're speaking about the Mamelodi Sundowns, you're speaking about the benchmark of South African football. You're speaking about a team that represents Betway Premiership, or rather, let me say the PSL in the African continent. I think this is one of the teams that has done well in terms of giving us national team players. Ever since Mamelodi Sundowns has invested in this huge project in the last 12 years, we've been doing well, not only just Bafana Bafana, but Kuma Junior national teams. You've seen our under-17 as well, doing exceptionally well with those GDL boys. You've seen our under-20 as well. I think Khumli Mokekane is one of the players of the tournament, comes off from iDiski too. You see about Tabes are exceptional in terms of Bafana Bafana. So you're speaking about a national treasure. You're speaking about a club that represents each and every one of us. So when you're talking about the Kaizer Chiefs, you're talking about a team that it's the biggest team in the country. In my opinion, they are the biggest club in the country with the most fans. When you're talking about the Orlando Pirates, you're talking about a team that has history. You're talking about a team that has player. People might associate me with the Orlando Pirates, but if you understand how I move with football, I'm a player no sugar. I love star players, but those are players that Tando Lindo. That has nothing to do with footballer analysis. So I think I relate so much with the Pirates, with the type of players that they bring in. For example, about Sipombu, about Tito Masonga. But when you're speaking about the Mamelodi Sundowns, you're speaking about a team that has one thing. And you cannot kill the soul of that, which is something that we rely on at this club. We only have one thing to rely on. Chiefs has the fans, Pirates has the history, Sundowns has the soul, and the soul is Shushan and piano. We need players that know how to carry the piano. That's number one. And carrying the piano means character, personality. Number 2, you need players that are able to play the piano in terms of ball rotation, in terms of positional play, in terms of attacking football, in terms of dominant football. When you're talking about players that know how to dance to the piano, now you're talking about players that have the X factor. You're talking about players that can decide a match. You're talking about players that have the ability to win a match for themselves. We've always had those players in Mamelodi Sundowns. What Fleming is doing at Mamelodi Sundowns is not new. With the South American contingents that is brought to Mamelodi Sundowns. Credit to him for bringing players like Abu Ribeiro, Abu Masolo Allende. I think Masolo Allende, in my opinion, today played exceptionally well. Osales has been a bright star, in my opinion, this season, ever since the league has started. I think he understands that role where he plays on the right channel, closer to the midfield, or rather, let me say, behind the midfield, where he's very creative. I think he's one of the players that knows how to play Mapogotweni. He's got the vision. I think in terms of progressing in Mamelodi Sundowns into the final third, I think he's one of the players that has done exceptionally well. You're checking on Marcelo Allende today. Even though he came here, revolves around keeping the shape, the ball retention. I think he's one of the players about 100% pass completion. I think today I saw him a little bit at join boxing, even though they were not feeding him the ball, but those artificial runs were helping us to open certain spaces. Ulentuzu Matthews, if you check out the tactical structures of Stellenbosch, more especially in the first half, Shane, but 4-5-1, if 4-1-4-1, I understand, Shane, with a very close block, I think they take that tactics from Kaizer Chiefs. That's why I always say there's nothing new in football, and coaches in general, they steal, and there's nothing wrong in stealing certain things, more especially if it works. But in my opinion, there was no attacking emphasis. I think the Tevin Titus was too deep. I think the profile of the forwards, in my opinion, with the game plan was never ever going to work, because De Jong is more of a ball player. He doesn't have the legs, your presser in the first place. He doesn't have the legs to run behind. Upetu Kaka, Ulitlolwane on the left-hand side, in my opinion, where I felt like the game plan should have relied on that. You've got Ulangilishe Pili, you've got Umuchele Penchini, you've got Tunku. I felt like those are the wingers who are quick, nippy, they can run in behind. I think you need a threat, because Stellenbosch Nabo, when they had the ball, they were playing passes that didn't bother Mamelodi Sundowns. Sundowns beat defender kahle. Exceptional performance from Umalubanga Khoza. But if you check, Shane, the width Mamelodi Sundowns, in my opinion, today was decoration. And width in football should never ever be decoration. If ball amalia wide is the first point of attack. The first point of any team in general, anywhere in the world, is when the ball goes wide. That's why wingers end the big bucks. I emphasize this. Last year, being emphasizing the Bayama midfielder who play very basic, who don't have that X factor in terms of showing us something special on the pitch. I think this season my biggest problem is going to be the wingers that we have. I think that's the message we drive, because every point of attack should come from wider areas. Width in football should never be decoration, Shane. Matthews today, I've never seen him take anyone on. Number two, I never saw him go behind the defense, even though that he got that opportunity where he could have scored. But I think in the reason why we keep him wide and the same isolator is because we want him on those 1v1 situations where he can initiate the attack. In my opinion, we didn't look dangerous in the second half. I think a very good game plan from Mustafi Parker in the second half to ensure that he presses high, puts us under pressure, because we couldn't come out of that press. I think Stellenbosch didn't play well, in my opinion, in the first half. Lack of creation. I don't think they created enough chances to punish Mamelodi Sundowns. About cause they were defending Bapegile, as well as Ulentuza. I think Cupido has been the bright star as well. I think he's one of the most informed players with Mamelodi Sundowns. Exceptional in terms of building out from the back, in terms of progressing Ipola. Helps us kuma aerial threat. I think Uronza today played his role as an extra player, being a goalkeeper. I think he played so many good passes. Uronza. You're talking about Ulitlako. I think Ulitlako also, his best quality is the one that Unkocha has. Keep him wide, where he's more dangerous, where he can isolate defense. Because Jobang Chelashin, width is the first point of attack. And I feel like sometimes we kill the width with Mamelodi Sundowns. We can't rely on the fullbacks to attack, even though Opri, Asakan Pilo on the left-hand side, as well as Umuren. I think Umuren a much better performance, in my opinion, compared to Wednesday. I think Wednesday, Kaizer Chiefs was putting him under pressure. But if you check Anamhlanje, I think he played exceptionally well. Defensively, more especially, and I think it was very solid. But that cannot be the point of our attack. I think Ulitlako today was supposed to be isolated, just like Matthews, have width so that you can occupy those spaces for Allende. The opponent needs to choose, Shane. When you play with width, it's either they remain compact and they give you the width. If they give you the width, if they go on the width, they open the central spaces. And this is where sometimes Ngsano Kala, Ngo Jadin, that's where sometimes Ngsano Kala, Ngo Allende to say, if a team has width, that's where you need to be important, because you need to go into those spaces. Because if a team is compact and they're allowing us to go to width, that's where we give the responsibility to Abo Sales, to Abo Matthews to say, hey, Ngwenya, we receive V1 on the width. Can you dribble to eliminate? Can you penetrate? Which is sometimes, Maucheki first half here to Shane. It had a lot of ball retention that lacked penetration. And I feel that sometimes penetration doesn't only just need a forward pass. Sometimes it needs an arrogant midfielder that's going to say, hey, let's progress and create opportunities for people like Abo Shalulile. The penalty, in my opinion, is a penalty, more especially Lega Shalulile. I like the first touch.
It's a penalty?
Yeah, it's a penalty, in my opinion. It happens closer to the box. It happens, but what makes the penalty, in my opinion, Shane, is the charge. He gets a foul and a very good penalty. And actually, I need to say to Shalulile, congratulations out for being the highest top goal scorer in the Betway Premiership, or in the PSL rather, 130 goals in the seasons that he's had. I think Shalulile has played in one of the best teams that Mamelodi Sundowns has had. The 2023 team under Coach Rulani that was playing with the Diamond, I think he scored a lot of goals in that season. I think it was one of his best seasons. I think the last two seasons were not really that good. But I think him achieving this is exceptional. I think from an athlete perspective, I hear when people describe Shalulile, they call him an athlete. From an athlete perspective, I think it's a motivation. I think from a human perspective, I think he's one of the good human beings we have in our league. I think he works hard. He's a professional, hardly complains. He's a leader in the teams, one of the captains of Mamelodi Sundowns. And I think this is an achievement for this institution. I think it's a huge achievement for him, for his personal career, for his family. But this, as an institution, the Mamelodi Sundowns, to have that record being done by Mamelodi Sundowns, I think this says a world of good with where this team is in terms of professionalism, in terms of the type of players that they're bringing in. I understand, Shane. But other than that, there's not much to say in the game, because for me, the game was well balanced in terms of Mamelodi Sundowns playing very well maybe in the first half in terms of ball retention, that legs penetration. But Stellenbosch, I think they had a better second half, even though they didn't create much as well. I'm half chances la bewakawathola nje kuphela umtshela.
Thank you so much, Lindo. I didn't ask you anything. I had to go to Ndugiyeke uqhabalanga. I had to go to Ndugiyeke, but one thing, mabayeke umane bek-associate nenye team, because every time you speak, yethu, us, yethu, us. But that's a topic for another day. Otherwise, thank you so much for your analysis, Lindo. Namhlanje bese Athlone Stadium, where Sundowns collected maximum points against East Stellenbosch. East Mamelodi Sundowns won. Peter Shalulile breaking a record, scoring now 130 goals. That's massive. That's massive. And the fact that it took so many years, because I can't even remember the year but Shalulile namhlanje wenze imbali South African football. Kwi-Betway Premiership for Mamelodi Sundowns and for also his nation in Namibia. Congratulations to Ushasha. East Mamelodi Sundowns 1, Stellenbosch FC 0. Thank you so much for watching iDiski TV.
Shapunjani bafowethu igama lami Lindo Pep, the best analyst in the country. Please don't forget to subscribe to iDiski TV. Danko.
This is Bongane Benedict Villagazi, they call me so. Niazi Bafetu, I'm a coach for life. They're back in winning ways. Please, I tell you to subscribe to iDiski TV.